Alright, so this is a video that I've been wanting to do for quite a while. This video's been on here since 2007, and it's something that I've always wanted to debunk. I've always kind of thought it was bullshit, but now I kind of have a really high understanding as to what kind of bullshit's going on. Not going to do a whole lot of post editing and stuff like that. I'm just going to do it right off here. If it gets a lot of interest and people want to see more, I will make a second one, and I'll put a lot of effort into it. Not saying that I'm not putting any effort into this one, but getting right off the bat, I'm only going to do some that I know for a fact that I can debunk. The ones that I won't be able to debunk are the gassy ghost, like shadows and that kind of stupid stuff. That'll be easy to debunk on yourself, or for yourselves. All you have to do is basically just apply logic. Most of those, in fact, if not every single one of them, if you have an understanding of compositing and stuff like that, you could pretty much say that's bullshit. And let's be honest, all of this is bullshit. None of it is real. If it is something that they claim they didn't do anything to and that they didn't add any sort of effect to, then if they're being honest, what they caught is not what they think it is. So apply some logic. Don't be a bunch of tinfoil hat conspiracy theorists. If you have, which most people say that they're not skeptics, that they believe in ghosts because they have their own experience with them, like they've had some sort of delusional hallucination of ghosts. Don't assume that you actually saw a ghost, because chances are the human brain, which is a very, very amazing organ, is probably the reason why you saw that. So I'm going to dive right into this. I'm going to be doing some skipping around and stuff like that. If I have any audio issues, then I'll have to do some editing. But for the most part, this is just going to be a chill video. Just sit back, relax, and I'll debunk some shit. So right off the bat for this one, I've seen, like I said, this video 1,000 times. I already know what they did with this. Basically, something to note, and I don't know if any of you have watched Captain Delusional or whatever his name is, not to butcher his name. He did a lot of these debunking, and he knows way more about this stuff than I do. Way more about it. And he's way better at it, too, with the actual video effects and stuff like that. He brought to terms something that a lot of people that do video effects and a lot of people that do compositing and stuff like that, what they do is it makes it easier to do the effects when you have a still camera, when it's on a tripod. And if you want to add the effects without having it look bad, but also having it look more realistic, you apply a fake motion track after the fact after the filming of the video. And this is exactly what these people did in here. So this original video, and I'll even just play it, you can even tell, let me turn the audio down, actually have maybe a little bit. So we go back a little bit. I got caught up with the audio. And let's go back a little bit. So you can see here it even looks bad. Like the motion track, or the camera motion is not what you would get out of a human. That is something that you would get from either doing it through a special effect under like After Effects or different video effects programs. Those will let you do something like that, and it's kind of like this fake generic look. That's exactly what they did here. This whole original film without it raw footage was just still. And the other thing to take into effect too is that the statue itself is a perfect line from here down, and it's exactly where they did the masking. So you have this some gas effect that's coming off the side of the statue, and it's being completely, the whole, this entire statue right here, probably about to right here, depending on how big the could be right here, I don't know, I didn't do the actual editing of the video, but basically it's a composite that cuts it from right here. So if that object moves from, let's say it comes out here, and I'll just play the video. Ooh, where's the ghost? There he is. Ooh. And then he disappears. So I'd say they probably had it about right here. I don't know what they used for right there. It was probably some sort of smoke or something like that. But if it moves over this line at all, because in all honesty, the mouse is a perfect representation of what it actually does. So let's say it's sitting here, and then it moves out, does its thing, and then goes away, disappears. So with having that masking on the statue itself, if I move my mouse, it would disappear behind the statue, which is exactly what it did. So you have that. You have the camera motion, so it makes it look more authentic because you have that, perfect camera tracking on that particular object, and then that's fake motion tracking on there. The other thing to take into account too is the fact that the quality of this video is absolutely dog shit. So I mean, it's so bad it looks like the Wizard of Oz, like in the background, like the very background that they use in the movie. That's how bad the quality of this video works in. You know how it is. The only way that you can capture a camera is with 240p, like shitty 2 megapixel cameras, or worse than that. So moving on, because we already know what this is. They zoom in on it just to show you again. Is that part of it? Yeah, it is. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but so you go back again. No, that's actually the beginning. Let's wait for it to finish. I'm actually wasting your guys' time. I said I wasn't going to. Isn't that right there the very object that was running out? Because it's in front of the trees, and the object is incredibly huge too. So they did a bad job of cutting that out. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but it definitely looks like that because it disappears the farther they go in, and then it's that very object running. This one's actually funny. Because I could do this. I'm actually, you know what? I'm gonna throw a very perfect example, like a perfect rendition of this effect. I will put this in the video as soon as right now. Mine wasn't exactly like this, only because I didn't change the effect, not the effect, but the quality of the video. You have again dog shit quality, and then on top of that you have this like stupid mask that just like appears. Okay, first off, what I want to know is why that particular ghost decided to just like come in on the fucking corner of the window. Like, that's not spooky, that's just kind of weird, dude. Like, just there's other ways of like showing yourself. You don't have to be like in the top left corner of the window. I mean, you already like can tell this is complete bullshit. I'll just wait for it to zoom in because it does that too. So you have some like retarded mask. It looks like some like Halloween mask that somebody cropped, put into some sort of effects engine, and basically they did the exact same thing that the other video that I spent a lot of time on, where you have a line right here, and we're talking about a tripod too, because this isn't just camera motion. You have a tripod, and then you have a line that comes down here with a mask, and then that mask is used to move and you can see how stupid the effect was because the mask just moved in. It just moved in, and then the opacity was slowly increased. Stupid, fucking stupid. The guy looks fucking like retarded too. Okay, so this one is fun because this is very simple. Just watch, and then I'll go back, see if you can figure out what bullshit is about it. Okay, so let me go back. Right off the bat, what this guy uses as a way to get you to think that something crazy is happening is, you know, the old not stereotype, but cliche that, you know, why are these people filming? There's no reason for them to have been filming at this point in time, so how did they capture something like that? This guy, because it's such a huge cliche that people point out all the time in videos, it's obvious that he's trying to erase that because he has a bag. He's pulling out his camera out of the bag and he's filming it like he's in the middle of it and he's trying to fucking catch it, and shit's already happening in the video. But if you watch, he puts the bag down, you have the lights that's flickering, you have the breathing, the stupid breathing. First off, if this was really happening in your house, why are you filming it? Like, you can film a little bit of it, I get it, because you want to like put it out there on the internet, but get the fuck out of the house, dude. And first off, there's obviously somebody flickering the lights because he doesn't show the light switch, and if he does show a light switch, 99.9% of the time, or 99.9% chance there's another light switch somewhere else. Everyone has that. So you have somebody flickering the lights. And the other thing that's interesting too that you should point, or that I'll point out, is that this this one right here is particularly stupid, because this picture frame is being lifted up from one particular place, which what do you think would that be? It's a fishing string is what it is, or some sort of string that he's using to pull it. Why would a ghost put his hand underneath a picture and just lift it up like that? It'd be different if he was like picking it up, moving it, and other things, but no, he's just flipping it from the very bottom up. And that's obvious that somebody on the other end, on the left-hand side, is pulling it with a string. So you have that, which is kind of odd. And then the other thing, too, to point out is the cup. Watch the cup, how it falls. It goes up, gets lifted up a little bit, and then it falls and hits the ground. Here's something that you should take note, is when that cup gets picked up, it goes up a little bit, and then it goes back down a little bit, and then it goes swinging up. The only other motion that could cause that is having it connected to a string, a pulley system. And that's exactly what this person has it connected to. So you can see how it goes up a little bit, and it kind of, floats, and it kind of moves from its original position because it's now being lifted up by a single string. And again, we can't see the string because the quality of the video is really fucking bad. So the cup goes up, and if you notice, the cup lands a little bit off, well, completely off the table. And the motion from that is when you yank on something really hard like that on a cup, it's going to swing the cup forward, and then it's going to swing it back up and back to the other side. And about the time that it's up in the air enough, he lets go of it, and the cup swings back into the other motion, and that's where it cleared the table and lands and crashes on the ground. That's exactly what happened. The pantry door opens. Did you see that? Let me go back a little bit. Pay attention to right here. Right here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on some devices, if you're watching this on a smartphone, if you're watching this on your computer screen. Just pay attention right here. You can see a black blob go down to the bottom, and I'll explain why it's doing that. Just watch. I'll even help point it out. Moving, 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 boom. I'll even show it again because I accidentally flicked the stupid thing up. And then it crouches. But it's got to reach the doorknob, so that's what it does. And then as soon as it opens the doorknob, pay attention to the very bottom of the pantry. That's a person right there. So basically you have somebody at the very bottom here, who is the little girl that you'll see later in the clip. And what she did is she was right here originally. I mean, because if she's up against the window, really up against the window, then you'll see her. So she was probably right here. I don't know where she initially was. But then she crouches. And then when she crouches, she reaches up for the doorknob, opens it, and then slowly gets into position. And you can actually see her moving around a little bit at the very end. But then, something that's funny. Let's get to this. Okay, so this right here is what they put at the end of the film, or the video, and it says that my home is now for sale, and I'm looking for a short escrow. This guy, this little shithead that made this video, he made 3 other ones that are on here, and I will point those ones out. One of them in particular is something that a lot of people think is real, when it's not by any stretch of the imagination, and I'll explain why, because it's the same person. So, to one of the 3, and it's the second one of that asshole that did the video of the pantry. So I'll just show it, and then I'll come back to it. So you have a little girl that's crying. This is what it really is. And she's just sitting there in the corner. He closes the door. Right outside the door. And then his daughter stands up and is looking at him. Ooh, so spooky. Fucking dumb, dude. fucking hate people that do this. This is why people believe in fucking ghosts. It's because dickheads like this make fucking shitty videos and people fucking believe it. This one is another one. This one actually uses not really special effects, but it uses like reversing of the clip. And pay attention to this real quick. Pay attention to this curtain that's just sitting here. I'm assuming it's a curtain. Watch as it starts to move before the door even opens. And what's weird, this guy tries to play the door opening motion. He tries to play it off as if what happened was like normal. When the door opens, it doesn't move after that. It hits the fucking wall and just sits there. And the reason why is because it was played backwards. And watch, you'll see. Just pay attention to this. It starts moving. Starts moving a little bit. Okay? And then the door just swings open. And just stops, frozen. See, did you see the motion in that one? Look at the curtain before the door closed. The curtain actually comes a little bit up with the door before the door closes. And the reason why is because the door was originally up against it and he reversed it. So when you close the door and you slam it closed like that, the curtain is going to come up with it because of the airflow. So that's exactly what happened here. See how it went up a little bit? And then the door just sits there. How he like made the door like actually close it, I don't know what he did with that. Could have been string, not sure, but that's what happened. It was a reversal of the actual image. And if you pay attention, I'll turn the audio up a little bit for this one. You can hear really fake and bullshit breathing, completely like fake breathing. And I'll point out some things about that too. And obviously when the door closes again, it's playing the actual first video. Like what really happened was what happened the second time with the door closing. You have completely fake breathing. Some random object that gets flown in front of it. All of those, in fact, something interesting about that, pay attention to this chair. It gets stuck and then it has to get moved, which leads me to believe that the person that was pulling on it was probably, obviously he was way back here, but he probably noticed that it got stuck a little bit and was pulling it. Like he just pulled it straight, it got stuck, and he just kept going with it. Just watch. See how it like kind of, not really like stuck, but it like really like hit something and then just kept going, which is kind of the exact same motion that you would get if you're pulling on something, because it's not, because you're really far back, you're pulling on a piece of like rope. It could be rope because we don't see the bottom, or it could just be a 1,000-pound test fishing string. I don't know what he used for pulling on the chair, but you don't have a firm control on it when you're way back there pulling on it. So when you do that, the chair itself is going to at least snag onto something and look weird when it's getting pulled back. The rest of these, including the table, are also being moved. The table, since we can't necessarily see it, and he does try and play it off because he's got a mirror in the background, I'm pretty sure the table, somebody's actually doing something with the table. And here's another thing to note. Did you catch the audio cut? Listen. Every single one of those objects, okay, the chair gets thrown back, audio cut. Another chair gets thrown back, audio cut. And then the table gets moved, audio cuts. That's a big red flag, because that means that something was edited out. It's not raw footage. I'll play it again and just listen to the cut. It's not fluid sounding. So the chair goes back. Cut. Cut. And you have bogus breathing. Fucking sounds like a fat retard. And then you have some like fake camera. And here's another thing that's interesting. So there is no audio difference between the camera standing up and then when the camera falls and hits the ground. You can hear the breathing of the fat retard in the background. And then when the camera hits the ground, you can still hear the under the same exact volume as it was when it was standing up, which is a huge red flag. That means that the fucking guy added that audio in there. Just listen. So you mean to tell me, let me get this straight. You mean to tell me that this ghost was like, what's this? And then he throws the camera down on the ground, and then what, does he get on his like, does he lay down next to the camera when it's on the ground? He's like, why is he breathing weird? Because it's fake, you fuck. That's why. Fuck that guy. Here's another one. Here's a fucking another one. I fucking love this one because it doesn't make any fucking sense either. We have a lot of shitty effects. And in fact, we get the back in the fucking clip too. Just listen. This guy's a dickhead. So really quickly, because I want to just blow through this one. I know we're almost done here. You get a shitty video effect of like the camera going and like the camera moves to the left, the camera moves to the right, moves up, moves down. It's hard to actually tell if the camera is even moving if you look at the mirror reflection, because you're looking at a mirror. You're not looking at another camera. You're looking at a mirror of the camera. Why he's doing that, I don't know. He's obviously trying to test out some sort of special effect. Why would you film the mirror? If you're trying to film some sort of poltergeist activity, you wouldn't be filming the mirror with the camera unless you're trying to test out a special effect, which is what he's doing, because it makes it more convincing to people that don't want to sit down and actually look at this video and say that they're looking and see how it's bullshit. And there's also, I should add onto this, there's also an audio issue as well. So listen. Okay, did you hear that? So when the object goes flying across the room, you hear a cut, like the sound of the object going across the camera is not a naturally sounding sound. It goes across and then it just like hits the ground, just slaps there and just sits. Like the audio just gets cut immediately, which is not natural. That's added in. That's completely fake. Just listen. See how it like just cut like ting, ting, and then like the audio didn't even have the same noise because there's no background noise in this clip, and you don't hear that when that object goes across. And here's the stupid effect, and it's pointing the other direction. You don't actually see the camera move yet. You still don't see the camera move. Oh, he's not breathing anymore. He's summoning Satan. Okay, so this one is actually more intricate than I had thought. There's a lot of cutting. Here's something that we don't know, because he said if you watch that, he said it was in the 70s, I believe. Here's something that we don't know. We don't know for sure that it's in the 70s, because there's a lot of things in here that could very well be in modern time. Something to take account, what looks to be a door right here, there's like this askew, not in the center. I mean, I'm assuming it's a door because there's a doorknob right there. Why is the clock like way off to the left and just kind of sitting there? That's weird. And why would you put a clock on the door anyways? You just close the door, the clock can fall off. But every single one of these images on here, every single one of these objects inside this video could very well be modern time. A clock, a picture of Jesus, a cane, objects. I don't even know what the fuck that is. So watch the video, and then I'll point out what I can at my best to describe what the issue is. Apart from the audio or the quality being shit. Do you see how it went into like a perfect... It went into like a perfect line. So it comes out of here, and then it goes up, and then it goes up, and then it goes up, and then the clip is reversed, and then it comes back down. Just watch. And it falls down. I don't know if the clip was reversed, but I'm pretty sure they just like let it go and then they dropped it. And then the other thing, of course, that you see here is that the clip, two things actually interesting about this. After the underwear falls, you have a shadow right here, and then when it falls, the audio cuts, or not cuts, the whole video cuts, and then we go to a different scene. It's obviously not a continuous shot, and if you look right here, which I just noticed, what the fuck is this? See that? It just disappeared. There's no string. What's that, ladies and gentlemen? Fucking string. What did I tell you? Show it again. Now, I don't know if it's actually string or not, because it could have just been the shitty quality of the video, which adds to the creepiness effect, because, you know, what goes perfectly with demons and ghosts and Satan? There's always Jesus and religion involved, so if you have some picture of Jesus with blood falling down his head, which is not even fluid, it just looks like they did frame by frame, and every other frame, they just got farther and farther down. That's probably how they did that. You know, I'm not a fucking genius, guys. I can't fucking debunk everything. This is another one that is completely fake, and I'll put a link in the description to the person that perfectly debunked this. I don't know, he was just able to like kind of clean up the picture a little bit, and he showed how there was motion tracking. If you look when they turn... Shut up. When you look, when he turns, the girl turns, pay attention to this area right here. There's choppiness. Then she turns, and then yeah, I can't even see it, but his video explains it better. I'll put it in the description. But basically, if you notice right off the bat, they masked her face, they paused the reflection in the mirror, and on top of that, the camera's moving a bunch because there's, you know, camera movement. But as soon as she starts turning her head, the camera cuts, and then it goes to a tripod, and it's just sitting there motionless. Just watch. Movement, movement, movement. And then no more movement. We're now frozen. Yep. So that's that. That's part 1. If this gets any views, I'll do a part 2, because there's other ones. I think there's 4 of these, and I've debunked every single one of them without recording it, because I'm a fucking idiot. So I'll do it again, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was more of a laid-back thing. I didn't really do that much, but just cut and copy and cut and copy and cut over and over again. Oh, and then I did that one video of that person's reflection in the corner. So I actually haven't done that yet, but through post. Through post, you guys have already seen it, but I haven't even done it yet. So if you guys want to see a part 2, go ahead and click like there on the bottom there. You know, comment, be like, hey, do you make a part 2? And I'll make a part 2. I can promise you that. Until next time. Wait, no, that's not my plug.